All right, so we're going to go over how I would rank a landscaping company. So, all right. So, what we're first going to talk about is going to be the Google Business Profile. Then we're going to talk about your primary category. Then we are going to talk about citations. Next, we'll talk about social profiles. Then we'll talk about optimizing the Google Business Profile. Then under that, we'll talk about services. Then last, we will talk about this is a D. And then we will talk about naming the Google Business Profile. Then for the landscaping company, we're going to talk about the website. On the website, we'll talk about backlinks. Slash press releases. Then for the website, we're going to talk about linking structure. Then we'll talk about blog content. Then we'll talk about making money pages. We'll talk about what is a money page. Then we'll go over the domain name. Next, we're going to talk about static HTML versus JavaScript. Then we'll talk about site speed. All right. So the first thing for a landscaping company is the Google Business Profile. So for a landscaping company's Google Business Profile, we want to focus on the primary category. The primary category for the Google Business Profile that I'm going to rank for a landscaping company is going to be landscaper. We want this primary category to best match what our company serves and does, right? This is our primary service, right? We are a landscaper. What you do not want to do is have your secondary services that you offer, like let's say you do some bathroom remodeling, on the side, or maybe you're a pool cleaner. Do not have these as your primary category. You want your primary category to best match what your business is about. Now, if you still want revenue, if you still want leads, if you still want traffic from people that are wanting those other services that you offer, like bathroom remodeling, or maybe you also clean pools, this is when I'd recommend getting a second Google Business Profile. Or maybe you do like snow clearing in the off season. This is the opportunity to get a second Google Business Profile that can target these very specific terms or services you're looking to rank. All right, so now we're going to talk about citations. So for citations, what we want to do is we want to get a listing on Better Business Bureau, or BBB, which is their acronym. You also are going to want to get on Yelp. Then you're going to want to go in any like local directories. You can get on Angie's. You can also get on MapQuest. You can get on Apple Maps. Each time we go and list our company on any of these platforms, what we want to make sure we're doing is we have a consistent name of the business, address of the business, and phone number. Not only that, your website URL. So anytime any external site, any citation is talking about your business, it needs to have a consistent name, address, phone number, and website URL. Next, we'll talk about social profiles. So, as a landscaping company, with your social profiles, you need to at least create 7. There are 7 social links you can place on your Google Business profile. So, one of those is YouTube. Another one is Facebook. And I'll talk about more about Facebook in a second. And then there's also Instagram. Then you've also got Twitter or X. You've got Pinterest. You have TikTok. And then you also have LinkedIn. Now, even if you don't plan on posting on these social platforms, we still need to create them. Google allows you to link to 7 different social platforms. Of the 7, they're right here. You got YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, TikTok, and LinkedIn. So on each of those, similar to how we do our citations, we need to have a consistent name, address, phone number, and a website URL going back to our company, going back to our website. For YouTube, YouTube allows you to also list again all of the social links that you have on your YouTube page, your about page, and your bio. So then we need to list all of them again. Your Facebook and your Instagram, when you post on one, you can have it so it will cross post for you. What do I mean by that? You post on Facebook and it will cross post to Instagram for you. You just need to go and enable that and set that up. Then across all of these, when you do post, we want to use keyword rich descriptions or copy that go with each post. Then we also want to link back to our own site each time we post. So if you've launched a new service page, if you've launched a new locations page, you've launched a new blog, etc., we want to link back from our social posts to those links on our site. So now we're going to talk about optimizing the Google Business Profile. So how I would optimize the Google Business Profile for a landscaping company is I would go through and find all of the attributes on the Google Business Profile, and I would start answering every single one of them. Yes, we have free parking. No, appointments aren't required. My appointment setting link is going to be set to my homepage or to my contact us page. I'm going to go and I'm going to talk about the payment options I accept. Do I have a publicly accessible restroom? And then, am I women owned? Or am I veteran owned? These two are really important because when someone goes to search for that specific attribute, and then plus the keyword. So if someone searches for veteran owned landscaping company, this is a big reason why we want this enabled on our Google Business Profile. Now we're going to talk about putting services on the Google Business Profile. So when you first launch your Google Business Profile as a landscaping company, what we want to do is let it sit. So for 1 week, don't touch it. Then after that, what we want to start doing is adding services. Now, for the first week after we've waited, I'm going to add 5. These are going to be my primary services. Now, what we want to make sure is that any service that is listed on our Google Business Profile is congruent with the primary category we've selected for a landscaping company. That's going to be landscaper. Then it's also congruent with our overall company. Now, if you offer other services like pool cleaning, gutter cleaning, bathroom remodeling, what have you, right? In those instances, I would not add them as a service. I would place those on your second or even your third Google Business Profile. So after adding those 5, and when you go to add services, what you need to make sure you do is the keyword that people use So the keyword used to search for your services is the name or the service you want to be adding to your Google Business Profile. So you might have to do a little bit of keyword research, or you just might have to listen to how your customers talk, or look at the review content in which they describe your service, right? So we'll get 5. Then after another 2 weeks, we'll add another 5. Then we'll wait some more time. And again, we're doing the same thing. For this additional 5, we want to make sure that it is matching our primary services, our primary category. And then after that, we'll wait another 2 weeks and add more. After you've listed a service on your Google Business Profile, You then want to go back behind it and add a 2 to 3 sentence description talking about the service. So now we're going to talk about posting as a landscaping company. So posting on the Google Business Profile as a landscaping company, what we want to do is anytime we get an announcement, so maybe we got new equipment, maybe we got a new 5-star review, we launched a new service, we got a let's say a new team member, right? So anything newsworthy, we're going to want to post on the Google Business Profile. Now, in this post, what we want to do is have a photo that we've taken. It's not stock photo, it's not AI generated. And then we're going to target, we're going to talk about what happened in the post, maybe target a keyword depending on kind of what the post is about, right? If we launched a new service, then we want to get that keyword for that new service in there. Then there's going to be a section below where there's a little button that says learn more, or we can do call. There's a whole bunch of different options that you can choose from, but either way, from this button, this is going to link to our pages. This is going to help with indexing. This is going to help with Google finding that link and coming by and crawling our page. So now we're talking about being a service area based Google Business Profile versus a verified address. So you never want to have your landscaping company's Google Business Profile service area based. You always, always, always want to be verified. What will happen is someone will search landscaping company near me. And what happens when you're a service area based profile, you are not going to appear in the top 3 pack as often as a verified address. So what does that mean? You're going to rank lower. You're going to be positioned lower on the page because you haven't verified your address. You always, 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 even as a landscaping company, want your Google Business Profile to be a verified address. So that little show address to customers when you're setting up your Google Business Profile, that needs to be enabled. That needs to be turned on. So now we're going to talk about naming the Google Business Profile. So when you go and create your business, right, you may not have a keyword in the name. You may have done, just in this example, we'll do Bucksworth LLC, right? What have you? Any example would make sense here? I'm just using this one. So you absolutely have to have a keyword in the name. So what you've got to go do is you've got to file a do business as with your state, so you can amend or you can start operating under that name. And when you go and file that do business as, what we want to change it to is we want to go from this, right, to Bucksworth Landscaper. You can do landscaping. Right? We need a keyword, and a keyword is whatever someone is typing into Google when they're searching for your service. All right. So now we're going to talk about the website for a landscaping company. So you do not need 30 pages to rank locally for landscaping. You might be able to get away, you probably can get away with 5 pages. What's currently happening right now is a lot of people have access to these AI website builders, and they think that because it's so easy that they should just create more and more and more and more pages. What this is going to do is you're going to see a quick satisfaction, right? You're going to get some traffic in the beginning, and then out of nowhere, you're going to see all of a sudden your traffic goes to zero. You do not have to make these ginormous websites to rank locally for landscaping. We can easily get away with a 5-page website. We can get away with a 10-page website. I have a client currently in a different business niche where it's just the homepage. Now, I don't consider the privacy policy I don't consider the sitemap. I also don't consider the terms of service. Pages. Now, they do have an about page. And then, last but not least, they have a home page. So, they are currently ranking locally with what I would consider 1 or 2 pages, right? Because for privacy policy, the sitemap, and the terms of service, these are not pages. So realistically, we can say 1 to 2. And they got 20 new leads last month. So when I'm going to build a landscaping company's website, that my first thing isn't to think about, oh, how many pages should I be building? It's okay, what's the minimum requirement to get us ranking number 1 in the position we want to be for the services that this company offers, or I offer if it was my landscaping company, right? Now, so backlinks or press releases for a landscaping company, what I do for every client that I start with is we start with a press release. So a press release is going to get you anywhere from 300 to like 350 to further, depending on which package you select. We can go up all the way to 3,700. A good press release, just in this range of 300 to 350, is going to be the majority of your competition. So what I like to say is your competition is rather 0 press releases away from being beat or 1 press release being away from being beat. So what does that mean? So they are going to rather fall below a threshold of 300 to 350 backlinks, right? So they might have 10, they might have 100. This competitor might have that amount, this competitor might have that amount, and this one might have like 410. But we can easily beat all of these and then get way closer to this guy with just 1 press release. And then also, depending on the package the client selects, we could actually, what would that be? That'd be like a 9x on the amount of backlinks. When I do press releases for my clients, the first one is always a brand. And what I mean by that is we're mainly going to focus on building the brand's entity. So, a majority of the newsworthy events that occur, we're mainly talking about the brand. And then also the links going back from these are also going to be more brand related at the beginning. When we head into the second or third quarter, this is when I will recommend doing a second press release. But again, this is also dependent on the competition. If we're already ranking in that first position from that first press release, then depending on what the client wants to do, maybe they want to start offering a new service. This is when the second press release comes in, where we can target a specific keyword with anchor text, and also the content or what's actually in the press release linking back to the client's site. So, what I like to do for my clients, so what I like to do for linking structure on a landscaping company, and this is also the linking structure I do for my clients, is we're going to use hubs and we're going to use the main navigation section. So you can see right here at the top and bottom, this is what is considered the header. This is considered what's the footer. And these are considered, for me, main navigation. These are where what I want to happen is when Google comes and visits the home page and any other page, it can easily find links all going out to my hubs. What hubs are for me and what I do on my client sites is we will have a locations hub. We will have a blog hub. We will have a service hub. And then we'll also have, depending on how big the company is or the team is, we'll have a team hub. Or you can also consider this about, right? On these pages, and they all will look pretty similar, we're just going to have a whole bunch of links, right? These are links. These, dependent on what page they land on, right? Let's say that this is a location hub. These are all going to be location links. So almost the exact same thing for a blog hub, except this is going to have links to all the blogs. From the blogs, we're going to link to services and location pages. From service pages, we're going to link to other service pages. From location pages, we're going to link to other location pages. Our goal here is anytime Google comes to the site, within 2 to 3 clicks, it should be able to find all of our URLs on the website. So by condensing the majority of the links on these hub pages, this is where we can start to achieve this. Then we're going to start what is considered siloing. So if I have my money page that I want ranking for a very specific landscaping term, what I will do is I will go create supporting articles or supplemental content, supporting blog content, whatever you want to name it. You can just name it blog content as well. Then all of these are going to link back to my money page. All of these are also going to be relevant to the landscaping term I'm wanting to rank for, or the landscaping keyword I'm wanting to rank for. I can also use the link or the anchor text to have an exact match to that keyword I want this page ranking for. So now we're going to talk about blog content. So with blog content, the purpose is to add relevance and authority for the keyword you want to rank for. So if I was wanting to rank for landscaping company in Pensacola, then I'm going to have my service or my locations page that is targeting this specific keyword. I'm going to create blog content that is relevant to that keyword. One of these is going to be a things to do. In Pensacola. This is called geographic relevance. So I'm going to continue doing these until this landscaping company in X city page stops going up in rankings. This is then when I'm going to start considering getting backlinks. So this is when I'll tell a client, hey, maybe we need to consider that second press release. And my press release packages start from anywhere from 300, 350 backlinks, and then they can go all the way up to 3,700 backlinks. And then this can help us get our pages, get our Google Business Profile ranking higher for those search terms. And my press release packages start off at $1,000. If you'd like to know more about that, DM me below. So now we're talking about money pages. So money pages are the pages I create for my clients that I want ranking in search when someone searches for their service or their products, right? Someone's looking for a landscaper near me. I'm going to SEO optimize this page. So I'm going to start adding entities. I'm going to start adding keywords, keyword variations. I'm going to look at the keyword density, etc. Right? I'm going to continue optimizing this, comparing it to your competitors' websites, my clients' competitors' websites, until I get this ranking for that very specific term. A money page is ranking for a keyword. So like us, the main service, the main revenue driver for the company, right? Now, we can have multiple money pages, right? So if you've got, let's say you've got 3 really big revenue drivers for your landscaping company, then we can have 3 money pages. And then each of these are intended to rank for those 3 revenue driving search terms. So when I'm going to think of a domain name for a landscaping company or for one of my clients, what I want is a keyword in the domain name. So what I mean by that is, let's say I was doing a branded term for me, Chris, right? So Chris's landscaping could be my domain name. I always advise all my clients that we get a keyword in the domain name. Now, you don't have to do landscaping. In my example, we could do Chris's landscaper. We want what our ideal customers or clients are searching in Google. We don't want to keyword stuff this, right? We don't want to be landscaper company in Pensacola, right? This is keyword stuffing. We just want a keyword. And then also .com top level domain. Never ever have anything other than a .com top level domain. All right. Now we're going to talk about static HTML and JavaScript. When I go to build my client sites, so whether that's a landscaping company or what have you, I want everything to be static HTML. Static HTML is going to be seen every time that Google comes by and crawls the site. Not only that, for my clients, when I build them sites, I make it so that it's so optimized for site speed that even someone on a 3G network can load in under 3 seconds. Ideally, close to a second. What you need to consider is that not everyone is always going to be on Wi-Fi or at home when they're searching for your services. This is how I think for my client sites. So, with that in mind, we cannot use heavy JavaScript, we can't use heavy images, and we can't use heavy videos on the site. Now, am I saying I'll never use those? No. What I'm saying is that we need to lazy load, we need to compress, or we need to do other means, other methods of achieving the site speed. If your site is loading within 5 to 8 to 9 seconds, you're losing a ton of traffic. People are not going to sit there and wait 5 to 9 seconds for a site to load. When's the last time you waited for a site to load in 9 seconds? So never, ever, ever will I be heavy on JavaScript, and never will my client sites take forever to load. Now, static HTML versus JavaScript. JavaScript feeds the browser, feeds the bot a script to then render, it's called rendering, the content to be displayed on page. What does that mean? So when you visit a link, your browser, Chrome, Safari, Firefox, is doing all of this rendering, right? It is running the script that is on the page to display the content to you. A majority of the time, when Google visits your landscaping website, it is not going to have rendering enabled. So it is not going to see all of the content on your page. So all of the SEO optimization you've done is not going to be shown. We want static HTML for our sites. If you have JavaScript, what happens is that Google will come by, see its JavaScript, and then it will place it into a secondary queue. That secondary queue can take a couple days, could take weeks, could take months for Google to see the updates you've made on that page. If I'm going to apply SEO optimization to my client's website, my landscaping company client, I want Google to instantly see all of that new on-page SEO optimization I've applied. Anybody have any questions? Anybody got any Google Business Profiles they want to look at? If you're a local business, I guess, how do I want to say this? If you're a local business struggling to get your Google Business Profile to work for you, I've created a free 7-phase roadmap that will goes through optimizing the Google Business Profile. It also goes over your site, site speed, and more for free. Comment down below roadmap and I'll link it to you.